the moment he left me on a night of thunder and rain to be with his mistress. I knew this marriage was already dead and buried. My husband cheated under the guise of psychological treatment. He and his mistress worked together to secretly film videos, spread rumors, and grind my dignity into the dirt. They even used my mother's death as cocktail conversation to humiliate me. They thought I would collapse, go insane, let myself be butchered at will, but I didn't cry or beg. I organized the evidence. At the airport, I hit send all and delivered their sex photos, recordings, and chat logs straight into the inboxes of the board of directors and major media outlets. With my own hands, I helped them lose their jobs, get blacklisted by the industry, and fall into total disgrace. They destroyed my marriage, and I destroyed their lives. My name is Lynn. Today, I'm accompanying my husband, Ethan, to a psychological evaluation. We've been married 5 years. To outsiders, we're the perfect couple, but I knew something had already gone wrong. I just didn't realize how completely rotten it had become. The psychiatrist handed over the diagnosis. Black letters on white paper, attachment-based post-traumatic syndrome. I frowned. What does that mean? The doctor adjusted his glasses. It means, Mr. Ethan requires intense therapeutic stimulation to break the vicious cycle of emotional dependency. Ethan lowered his head and held my hand. Lynn, the doctor is doing this for my own good. A woman in a red dress walked in. Her name was Claire, Ethan's therapy assistant. The doctor explained that Claire would provide specific situational stimuli to help Ethan rebuild emotional boundaries. I looked at him. He looked at Claire. Claire smiled at me, her eyes sharp as needles. That night, my phone received an anonymous video. A hotel room, dim lighting, 2 bodies tangled on a bed. I knew that man's back far too well. It was Ethan. Then the woman turned toward the camera. It was Claire. They were kissing. I stared at the screen for 3 seconds. Then I laughed. Fake. Ethan has a small mole on his collarbone. The man in the video didn't. Cheap work. AI face swapping these days is embarrassingly bad. Whoever sent the video wanted me to panic, to make a scene, to lose control. So I did the opposite. I checked the hotel location, east side of the city. At 2 a.m., I put on my coat and drove there. My phone was in my hand. Recording turned on. Room 1327. The door wasn't fully locked, left ajar. There were sounds inside. A woman laughing. A man panting. I took a deep breath and shoved the door open. The room was brightly lit. Ethan and Claire were naked, tangled together. The blanket lay on the floor. When they saw me, they froze. Ethan's face went ghost white. He grabbed a pillow to cover himself. Lynn? How did you get here? Claire stayed calm. She pulled the sheet around herself. She even smiled at me. Disgusting. A violent wave of nausea rose in my throat, not heartbreak. Just pure revulsion. Like looking at rotting trash. Why her? I asked calmly. Ethan stammered. This is part of the treatment plan. The doctor suggested it. Lynn, you have to believe me, this is therapy. Claire snuggled into his arms. Her voice syrupy. Lynn, we're helping Ethan recover. Please try to understand. I looked at them, one panicking and covering up, one smug and provocative. And suddenly, I understood. This wasn't just an affair. This was 2 people conspiring to perform a filthy little play called therapy. Their morals had already merged into the same sludge. I turned and walked out. Ethan shouted behind me. Lynn, where are you going? I didn't look back. The door closed softly, but I knew some doors never open again. I drove back to our marital home. A massive wedding photo hung on the living room wall. In the picture, Ethan had his arm around me, smiling sweetly, like his face was dipped in honey. He used to be everyone's idea of the perfect husband. He remembered my periods, picked me up after work. His social media was full of photos of me. Looking back now, all that tenderness was carefully engineered control. He needed me to be attached to him, needed me to depend on him. Only then could he rot in peace. I walked into the study. There was a locked cabinet. Inside were our memories. I smashed the lock. There wasn't much inside, some old photos, a few greeting cards, and a stack of yellowed notes. I pulled one out. A note from high school. Immature handwriting. It was from Ethan. Lynn, they cornered me again. Save me. I remembered. In high school, Ethan was bullied for being introverted. I was class president. I stood up for him again and again. Once, a group of thugs trapped him in an alley. I ran in and stood in front of him. They shoved me. I fell, my head slamming into the wall. Ethan took the chance to run. Afterward, he cried and apologized to me. And then my mother got a call from the school saying I'd been in a fight. She rushed there in a panic. On the way, she was in a car accident. She never woke up. The note slipped from my fingers. My entire body went cold. So that's what I gave him, not my youth. Not love. A life. My mother's life. All these years, I buried that memory deep. I used Ethan's kindness to numb myself. Now the anesthesia had worn off. The pain hit, sharp, undeniable. All the sweetness turned to poison. Every memory became a debt. He owed me. He owed my mother. And it was time to pay. 3 days later, Ethan came home. There were scratches on his face, souvenirs from Claire. He rushed up to me, eyes bloodshot. Was it you? Did you report Claire to the company? Claire was under internal investigation. Someone had anonymously emailed the company, accusing her of a chaotic private life and destroying someone else's marriage. I sat on the couch and took a slow sip of water. Serves her right, I said. 2 light words. Ethan exploded. Lynn, how did you become so vicious? Claire was helping me. What did she do wrong? Are you really that narrow-minded, can't tolerate anyone else? Helping? Helping in bed? I set down the glass. Ethan. I looked him straight in the eyes. Do you remember how my mother died? He froze. His gaze dodged away. Why bring that up? It was so long ago, so long ago. I stood and stepped closer. My mom got a call from the school saying I'd been in a fight. She rushed over and got hit by a truck. Why was I fighting? Because of who? He took a step back. Because you were being bullied, and I went to save you. I said, word by word. You ran. You left me there alone. My mom died. Ethan, you're an indirect killer. His face turned deathly pale. I was scared back then. I didn't do it on purpose. One sentence, I didn't mean to, can bring a life back? I smiled, but no tears came. All these years, the way you've been good to me, was that your penance? Using cheap tenderness to buy yourself peace of mind? He opened his mouth, but no words came out. Coward. Right in front of him. I opened the memory cabinet. I took everything out. Photos, notes, cards. I piled them in the yard, poured gasoline over them, lit the match. Flames shot into the sky. All that fake sweetness burned to ash. That was when my phone went insane. The company group chat exploded. An anonymous account dumped a pile of exposés, saying I'd had an abortion in college, saying my private life was a mess, that I'd slept with multiple clients, saying I'd cheated long ago and put a green hat on Ethan. The photos were mine, crudely photoshopped, obscene. Some of the details, only Ethan could have known. I looked up at him. He was staring at his phone, head lowered, fingers trembling. Did he send them? Or did Claire send them, with his knowledge? It didn't matter anymore. The firelight illuminated his face and the ice in my eyes. He wasn't just a cheating husband. He was someone who had picked up a knife and stabbed it straight into me. That night, I had nightmares. I dreamed of my mother, covered in blood, staring at me. I dreamed of that dark alley from high school. And I dreamed of 3 years ago, me standing on the company rooftop. It was the anniversary of my mom's death. Ethan forgot. We argued. He said I was making a big deal out of nothing, that I was always living in the past. I broke. Life felt meaningless. I climbed onto the rooftop. Ethan was the one who found me. He held me, crying, apologizing, saying he couldn't live without me. He said he would spend his entire life making it up to me. He pulled me back down. In that moment, I thought he was light. Now I realize how ridiculous that was. He didn't pull me down to save me. He wanted me to stay in hell, with him, rotting together. My phone vibrated. A message from Claire. A video, shot from a hidden angle. Ethan and her. On the living room couch. Claire's voice, you told Lynn about her mom's death, right? How did she react? Ethan. Vaguely annoyed, don't bring that up, it's annoying. And those exposés in your company group, she must be furious, right? Claire laughed. You sent those? Ethan asked. Yeah. Teaching her a lesson for reporting me. Claire said smugly. You're not mad, are you? 2 seconds of silence. Ethan said, don't do it again. Then came the sound of kissing. Don't do it again. So casual, like saying, next time don't spill the milk. I rushed into the bathroom and retched violently over the toilet. Nothing came up, just the bitter taste of bile. Claire sent another photo. Her high heel stepping on my wedding photo with Ethan. My face crushed under the heel. Caption, trash belongs in the trash can. I stared at the picture. I didn't cry. Didn't throw my phone. I turned on my computer. Created a new folder. Named it Evidence. Dragged everything in, videos, photos, chat logs, screenshots from the company group. Backed it up. Encrypted it. Uploaded it to the cloud. Then I opened a ticketing site. Booked a one-way flight. Destination, the farthest southern city from here. Departure, 3 days later. When everything was done, dawn was breaking. I watched the sky turn pale through the window. Something inside me died completely, and something else broke through the ground. I was no longer a passive victim. I was an executioner about to take the stage. The day before departure, it poured. The flight alert warned of possible delays. I stayed home, clearing out my phone. Over 3,000 photos with Ethan. I looked at them one by one. Deleted them one by one. No emotion. Like deleting pictures of a stranger. Late at night, Ethan came back. Reeking of alcohol and Claire's perfume. Overpowering. Nauseating. He saw me in the living room and froze. Still up? He tried to sound gentle. Like before. You stink. I said. Stay away from me. He stiffened. His face tightening. Lynn, can we talk properly? I know I was wrong. I'll change. We should have a child. Once we have a child, everything will get better. A child? To bind me? To cover up his filth? I looked at him like he was the biggest joke on earth. Then his phone rang. The sharp ringtone pierced the thunderstorm night. He glanced at the screen, panic flashing across his face. Claire. He went out to the balcony to answer. He kept his voice low, but I still heard it. It's raining so hard. I'm scared. Thunder, can you come stay with me, please? Ethan looked back at me. I was deleting photos. Expressionless. He hesitated for a few seconds, then said into the phone, okay, wait for me. I'll be there right away. He came in and grabbed his jacket from the bed. There's an urgent company issue. I need to handle it. He lied, smoothly. Practiced. Chilling. I didn't look up. Relieved. He rushed out into the rain. Minutes later, my phone received a photo. From an anonymous number. A screenshot of Claire's social media post. A photo of her hugging someone, Ethan's back. Soaked from the rain. Caption, thunderstorm night. Having you here means everything. Thank you for coming to be with me, posted 1 minute ago. Claire sent it on purpose. She was showing off. I looked at the photo. Looked at the torrential rain outside. The last spark in my heart went out. He had made his choice. On a stormy night, he abandoned his wife of 5 years to be with another woman. And with that, my own choice became perfectly clear. The next day, the rain stopped. I pulled a small suitcase and went to the airport. The terminal buzzed with people. I found a quiet corner and opened my laptop. Connected to the airport Wi-Fi. Logged into my cloud storage. Opened the folder labeled Evidence. I drafted a new email. Recipients, all senior executives, board members, HR heads, all partner contacts. Also, several well-known industry journalists. Attachment, the complete evidence package, including the diagnosis, doctor's info redacted. Hotel video, I later obtained the real surveillance from the hotel. Recordings of Ethan and Claire. Claire admitting to spreading rumors. Photos of her stepping on my wedding photo. Screenshots of company group chat slanders. And her thunderstorm night social media brags. Everything was chronological. The chain of evidence. Airtight. Subject line, regarding the misconduct of Mr. Ethan and Ms. Claire body, just one sentence, locked together. Congrats. I triple-checked everything. Cursor hovered over the send button. No hesitation. Clicked. Sent. Almost immediately, my phone went haywire. WeChat blew up. Calls flooded in. I hung up everything and switched to airplane mode. Put on headphones. Shut out all noise. I knew On the other side, chaos had already begun. Ethan was in an important project meeting. His phone would vibrate first, then be snatched by an assistant in a panic. He'd see the email, see moments of himself he might not even remember clearly. The meeting room's projector might be displaying a PPT. Next second, it would switch to his dirty deeds. Partners' calls would go straight to the chairman. Questions, reprimands, terminations. Internal company chat would explode again, but this time, the main characters would be him and Claire. Stock price? This scandal alone would send it plummeting. Emergency board meeting, dismissal proposal, termination notice, and Claire. She would scream, cry, be escorted out by security. Her carefully curated image, her prideful victory, shattered into a pile of rubble. And all of it, just from one click. Destruction. It turns out, could be that simple. The plane landed in the southern city. I activated a new SIM card. The old phone occasionally powered on, checking messages. As expected, total chaos. Ethan was suspended from all duties by the board. Claire was immediately fired and blacklisted by the industry. Several major partners announced termination and pursued breach of contract claims. The company's stock hit consecutive limit downs. News headlines screamed, former elite executive caught in sex scandal. Shocking company secrets revealed. I heard details from former colleagues. After that nightmare meeting, Ethan returned home, shell-shocked. Found half the house empty. My clothes, makeup, all personal belongings, gone. Not a single hair left behind. So clean, it was as if I had never existed. Only the massive wedding photo on the living room wall remained. I had drawn a large red X over my face with lipstick. He smashed the photo. Then Claire showed up. They apparently argued at the door. Claire cried and shouted, "It's all your fault. If you weren't so indecisive, I wouldn't have ended up like this. And now you pretend to be loving?" Ethan roared. "If you hadn't posted all that to provoke her, she wouldn't have done it." Claire screamed, "It's your own inability to control your body. You allowed me to post it, and now you blame me?" For the first time, Ethan hit her, slapped her across the face. "Get out! Get out of here! I never want to see you again." The therapy partner who once tangled with him in bed now tore into him atop the ruins. Faces twisted with rage. A fragile alliance of desire and self-interest, shattered with one poke. Claire was dragged away by security. Still cursing and screaming, Ethan sat in the wreckage of the house, reportedly crying like a dog. Career erased. Social circle blacklisted. Love, if you could call it that, destroyed. The high-flying Ethan, reduced to a figure everyone avoided. What he lost wasn't just a marriage. It was the entire identity he had built on lies and deception. I settled in the southern coastal city, used the savings I'd secretly stashed over the years to register a small studio. Brand marketing consulting, my original expertise. After marriage, I'd been cooking and cleaning for him, almost forgetting I had once been a top-tier strategist. A week after the studio opened, the first client showed up. My former partner, Mr. Lee. He walked straight into my studio. "Lynn, finally found you." He smiled and shook my hand. "Heard you're going solo." I flew over immediately. "That last project? Impossible without you." "Ethan, never mind. Can you take this job? Name your price." I was surprised. "Mr. Lee, I'm just starting. My scale is small. I don't care about your scale. I want your brain," he said bluntly. "I value you, Lynn." Back at Ethan's company, most core plans were yours, right? He just took credit. Anyone in the industry knows. Turns out, I had been underestimated, but also seen clearly. I accepted. With 2 temporary assistants. We worked day and night for 2 weeks. On delivery day, Mr. Lee came with the client. I presented in person. 20 minutes later, the client manager said, "We'll go with Lynn's plan. Sign the contract now." First paycheck landed, substantial. Word of mouth spread like wildfire. The network and skill I'd accumulated converted into immediate results. The studio quickly grew into a company. We hired a professional team. Media somehow caught wind. Came to interview. Asked about my startup motives. About my past with Ethan. I only talked about the industry, professionalism, future plans. On personal matters, I smiled and said, "Sorry. Not relevant to work." After a few rounds, They gave me a nickname, Cold-Blooded Queen Lynn. I didn't argue. That name sounded 10,000 times better than Ethan's wife. I didn't need revenge to prove anything. I only needed skill to take back everything I lost, doubled. My company hit the fast lane. News about Ethan trickled in. His former company, crushed by scandal and poor performance, teetered on bankruptcy. He begged for funding. Hit dead ends everywhere. Former friends avoided him like the plague. He sold the marital home to cover part of the losses, but it was a drop in the bucket. Somehow, he found out about me, about the rising cold-blooded Queen Lynn and her thriving company. That day, my company held a major launch event. I spoke as the founder. Under the spotlight, I was confident and composed. After the speech, the Q&A session began. A familiar yet foreign figure stood up from the back row and took the microphone. It was Ethan. He had lost a lot of weight. Scruffy beard, wrinkled suit, bloodshot eyes. The contrast with me on stage, polished, radiant, was brutal. The room fell silent. Everyone recognized him. Gossiping glances darted between us. He held the microphone, his voice dry and hoarse. Lynn. He changed how he addressed me. I have an unusual request. I still have a project, core patents from my previous company, but the company doesn't have funds to continue. The technology is solid. The market potential is good. Could Lynn invest? The terms, we can negotiate. Profit, we're willing to take only 30%. No. 20%. You keep 70%. He lowered his head, practically begging in front of everyone. Whispers spread through the audience. I looked at him, at the man who had once been at the top, now fallen and shabby. No pleasure, no sympathy, only a calm assessment. I signaled for the staff to bring the project documents. Flipped through them quickly. The technical details were solid. The team competent, just lacked funding and operations. A project with real potential. I need to take this back for the investment team to evaluate thoroughly. I said, businesslike. If it has investment value, we'll proceed according to market rules. As for profit sharing, we'll discuss that after evaluation. Ethan's eyes brightened. He clung to the slightest lifeline. Thank you. Lynn, you still care about me, Mr. Ethan. I interrupted. Voice clear. This is strictly business. We only care about project value and investment returns. Nothing else. He froze. The small spark in his eyes dimmed. He thought my money came from lingering feelings. He was wrong. I offered opportunity, not pity. The investment team evaluated the project and confirmed its value. I approved the investment. Terms were market competitive, but I didn't crush him completely. I gave his team 40% of profits. For me, it was a smart investment. For him, a lifeline. Once funded, the project quickly revived. Ethan's actual abilities, when applied, were not bad. The project progressed smoothly and started turning a profit. Industry whispers resurfaced. Lynn is so generous. She's investing in her ex-husband? Must be old feelings rekindling. Maybe they're getting back together, true love in adversity. Ethan heard these rumors. He started sending me gifts. Flowers at the office, ones I used to like. Afternoon tea desserts with notes, don't work too hard. Even calls while I was working late, remember to eat. I had the front desk refuse all deliveries. Calls went to my assistant, she's busy. I had warned him clearly once, Ethan. Know your place. We are business partners. Only that. Do not cross boundaries. He apologized, sorry. I misjudged the limits. But within days, he reverted to his old ways. Project success restored some of his confidence. External rumors gave him illusions. He probably thought I helped him because I still cared. He probably thought if he performed well, he could return to the past. Power and hope swelled him again. He began treating himself as one of us, inserting himself into informal aspects of my life. He thought this was love returning. He was wrong. This was only his one-sided desire, and a misunderstanding about to be shredded. The project celebration banquet was lavish. I attended as the major investor. Ethan, as project lead, also dressed up, looking much healthier. Many attendees came to toast. Subtle questions laced their words, probing our relationship. I deflected everything lightly. After several rounds, the atmosphere loosened. Ethan suddenly stepped into the center of the hall and grabbed the host's microphone. All eyes turned to him. A bad feeling surged in me. "Excuse me, everyone," he said, taking a deep breath, staring at me, eyes burning. "Tonight, I want to speak from my heart to one person, Lynn." His voice choked. "I was wrong, terribly wrong. I hurt you, lost you, and only then did I know what true agony feels like. These past days, I've regretted every moment, seeing you thrive. I'm happy for you, and hate myself for being blind back then. You didn't strike me down, and you even gave me a second chance. Your kindness, your generosity. I feel utterly ashamed." Suddenly, he dropped to one knee. Gasps filled the room. Cameras flashed. "Lynn, I know I don't deserve it, but I still ask, please give me one more chance. Let's remarry. I will spend the rest of my life making amends, treating you right. Everything I am is yours." He held up a diamond ring, sparkling under the lights. Everyone froze, staring at me, some for the spectacle, some shocked, some hopeful. Ethan knelt, head tilted, tears in his eyes, a self-righteous love reflected in them. I set down my glass, walked slowly to him. Spotlight followed me. I took the backup microphone from the host. My voice carried through the speakers, clear to every corner. "Mr. Ethan," I began, deliberately avoiding his name. "Please stand." He hesitated, then stood, looking uncertain. "First, let me correct a few things. Number 1, I invested in your project based solely on professional market judgment and investment return analysis. This is a cold, rational business decision, unrelated to personal feelings. Do not confuse the two. Number 2, your so-called favor and generosity do not exist. I deal with matters objectively. The project has value. I invest. With anyone else, the result would be the same. Number 3, I said, staring at his suddenly pale face. Our relationship ended the moment you chose to leave me on that thunderstorm night to be with Claire. There is no going back. Tonight is a project celebration banquet, not your stage to display fake remorse. Your behavior is highly unprofessional, disturbing the event and causing inconvenience to my company and guests. I turned to security. "Please escort Mr. Ethan to the lounge to calm down. If he cannot compose himself, he may leave early." Then I returned the microphone to the host. "Apologies for the interruption, everyone. The banquet continues, enjoy yourselves." Security approached, polite but firm, and asked Ethan to leave. He seemed soulless, unaware even as the ring slipped from his hand to the floor. The room went silent, then erupted into suppressed whispers and low laughter. Those laughs hit him like slaps to the face. What he thought was a kneeling proposal to reconcile was, in reality, his last shred of dignity being publicly shredded and left on the ground for me to step on. I did, and I made it clear to everyone he didn't deserve it. After that banquet, Ethan completely retreated. No more visits, no gifts, no calls, no messages, all stopped. But he seemed to still watch me, through industry news, through mutual acquaintances. Occasionally, I could sense that silent attention, like a shadow lurking in the corner. But I felt nothing. My world was busy. The company kept expanding, securing a new round of funding, branching into new areas. My name became increasingly tied to industry rising star and female entrepreneurship leader. I attended high-level forums, gave interviews to authoritative media, and negotiated partnerships with real industry heavyweights. My social circles and influence left him far behind. He was completely marginalized. His project, though successful, was just a small piece in my investment map. He himself became a negative footnote in the story of my life, already closed, already past. I heard he remained single, buried in work, never regaining his former stature. He lived in guilt, in the past. If someone mentioned me, he would fall silent, then quickly change the subject. I didn't hate him anymore. Hate takes energy, and my energy was reserved for climbing higher mountains. I didn't care about him, his guilt, his downfall, his attention, none of it concerned me. This total indifference was sharper than any revenge. It severed the last thread of emotional connection. He no longer even had the right to occupy a corner of my mind. As for Claire, her ending was more direct, more brutal. Blacklisted by the industry, she couldn't find decent work. She tried becoming an influencer, but her past was exposed. She was verbally assaulted, and she withdrew from the internet. All her pride and capital came from leeching off men and trampling others. When both were gone, she went mad. She repeatedly harassed Ethan, crying on calls, blocking the door to his rented apartment, posting deranged messages online. Ethan had long grown tired of her, changed numbers, moved, cutting all contact, receiving no response. Her rage turned outward. She blamed me. She believed I had ruined her love and her future. She began stalking me, loitering outside my company, repeatedly escorted away by security. She created fake accounts, spreading vicious rumors online, quickly stopped by legal with cease and desist notices. The last time was in an underground parking garage. She somehow learned my schedule and ambushed me. After a late shift, I went to get my car alone. She suddenly lunged from behind a pillar, wielding a fruit knife, eyes bloodshot, hair disheveled, a true lunatic. "Lynn, you bitch! You destroyed everything I had. I'll destroy you too." She rushed at me with the knife. I was prepared. I sidestepped while activating my personal high-decibel strobe alarm. The piercing sound and flashing light froze her in place. Security rushed in immediately, but amid the chaos, another figure appeared, blocking her path. It was Ethan. Somehow, he was here too. The blade slashed. It grazed Ethan's arm. Blood instantly flowed. Claire froze. Security seized the opportunity, wrestled the knife away, and pinned her to the ground. The police arrived quickly. Claire was arrested for attempted assault and armed intimidation. The entire incident was captured clearly on parking garage surveillance. The story exploded in the media. Former mistress attacks with knife. Injures ex-husband. Arrested. She became a complete negative social example. True social death. Malice is like a boomerang. She once used the cruelest methods to hurt others. In the end, her malice rebounded most violently, completely consuming her. Ethan took a knife wound. Not deep, but he had to be hospitalized for a few days. My assistant cautiously asked, "Lynn, do you want to visit Mr. Ethan? After all, no." I interrupted. "Send a fruit basket under the company's name. State it's from the company to a project partner as a courtesy. Have you or admin deliver it. I won't appear personally." She nodded. "Understood, Lynn." The basket was sent. Ethan received it. Reportedly, he looked at the card, courtesy of Lynn's company, for a long time. Then he told the person delivering, "Thank Lynn. Tell her I'm fine. And, sorry, I didn't have it relayed. Unnecessary." Later, he was discharged. Project cooperation continued. Strictly per contract. Occasional work emails, polite, professional, detached. That was it. We never met privately again, nor had any non-work interaction. He fully understood. Between us, only clear, cold business boundaries remained. Power and emotion were completely separated. What I gave him was rational investment, business opportunity, not forgiveness, not sympathy, not lingering feelings, not even a sliver of pity. All accounts settled, all connections terminated. 3 years later, my company launched its IPO plan. On the bell-ringing day, I stood in the exchange hall, wearing a sharp white suit. Spotlights on me, cameras everywhere. I made the financial headlines. I became the admired cold-blooded queen. My wealth, my career, my team, all built by my own hands. At the celebration banquet, perfume and fine suits, glasses clinking, people whispered about my past, about Ethan, about Claire. I smiled, chatting and laughing with investors and partners. Those old ghosts, old events, like dust from a past life, stirred nothing in me. Ethan had completely vanished from my world. His project was long over. The team disbanded. He seemed to have gone to a small city to run a minor business, blending in with everyone else. I heard a passing mention and simply nodded, then forgot. Whether he lived well or poorly was no longer my concern. I stood at the center of power. Looking back, no hate. Hate is cheap, it belongs to the past. No love. Love is extravagant, I reserve it for my passion and my future self. Only vast freedom. Sky high, sea wide. I soar. The sharpest revenge? Not his ruin. Not his tears. It's reaching heights he could never touch. Then, not even glancing back at him, he loses the ability to harm you and the right to appear in your brilliant life. My new life was just beginning.